Hello, welcome to Crafting is Therapy. Today we are trying the Let's Resin Silicone Mold Making Kit. I'm trying out a new camera today and I already made a mistake, so it's been interesting. So you're not going to see me measure it or anything because for whatever reason my camera didn't record. But it comes in two parts and I love that it's colored because then it makes it easier for you to tell if your product is mixed. But I used my handy dandy little scale that I got off Amazon. It's really nice. They made a very thorough list of instructions. And I just love that. This formula is different from the other one, besides the color, or maybe the instructions are just different, updated. I would say they're updated. But if you see that, normally I use hot glue to attach my base item that I'm going to mold. And this time they're recommending using double-sided tape. So I just have this, it's kind of funny, it's leftover window insulation tape from when I used to live in a really drafty apartment. But hey, it should work just fine. Or if you have your scrapbooking double-sided tape or whatever, that'll work too. But I have a list of supplies that you'll need. And doing this is actually a fun excuse to go to the thrift stores because I love scouring through all the glass and whatnot. This is what I chose to make. I already have it attached, and I used I have one of these for my rubbing alcohol that I made sure I wiped it off really well because I was told that if you have fingerprints on there, that will transfer to the mold, and you don't really want that. This is just a recycled box and painter's tape from Dollar Tree. And if you notice this mat, here, let me put my instructions away. This is also a Let's Resin product. Has a nice little ledge on there. So if you spill anything on here, it's not going to go all over your table, which is pretty exciting because I am a messy crafter. But I have my silicone all mixed up already. And I had used my timer. This formula, well, and the other one, is recommended to stir for about 5 minutes. And make sure you scrape your sides. I'm just giving it another stir before I pour it in. And like the other Let's Resin products, I don't smell anything. Granted, I still don't have my smell back from having COVID for so long. But things I do smell, you know, they don't smell like what they're supposed to. So if any of you try this, please let me know in the comments if you notice a smell. That way I can feel confident that I am in fact smelling it correctly. Usually my other half has to explain. When we have supper, I'll ask him what it tastes like. He's learned to become quite the food critic. Just so that I can get the full gist of how our food tastes. there you have it. And it, as you can see, it's not, it has some bubbles, but not a lot. And the instructions say to put this in the refrigerator for a little while because the cooling process, the product degasses itself, and then the cooling process helps it degas better because it's slower. I'm really excited to see how this turns out, because I already have a few ideas. Ooh, I think I'm gonna be lucky. Maybe not. Nope, I'm gonna have to make just a little bit more. This is my biggest mixing cup, so I was hoping. I didn't do the, a lot of makers use rice in their mold to see how much they need, but I always make such a mess that it's like, no, we're not going to try it this time. But I am going to mix up a little bit more, and I will be right back. Alright, we have a little more silicone mixed up here so we can finish up. There it is. And it says in the instructions it takes about 8 hours for it to set up. Alright. Put that aside. I want to zoom that in. You can see the bubbles. And I can blow on them and they go away. And you don't need to use a torch or anything on them because they will degas on their own. So yeah, pretty neat. It says about 8 hours, so I'll be back as soon as it's cured. Alright, we are back. I was pretty impressed. I taped pretty good. I only had a few leaks. Can't go wrong with that. But let's see if we can get this baby out of there. I put gloves on just in case. I know my first time making a mold, it didn't cure all the way, and I can't help but think it was the kind of tape I had on the bottom, so that's why I used painter's tape this time. It's kind of neat. You can see that it has the texture of the painter's tape on it. Ooh, look at that. Alright, so we're going to have to cut it out. There was some stuff that didn't cure. I'm going to switch my gloves quick. And if you're looking for a good X-Acto knife, this Cricut knife is seriously the best one I've ever used. This part just pops up so you don't have to tighten anything as you push it, or I should say you turn it and push, and then you can put a new blade in. But I don't have any of the issues I did with a traditional. So I'm not really liking the fact that I had to use double-sided tape. But hopefully it won't be a big issue getting it out. Peel that off. So I wonder... I'm not really too concerned about how this base part will be, being that it's going to be on the bottom. Just loosen her up. I'm really impressed at how sturdy this is. There we go. So you can see how the texture is on there? You can see that. And I might actually take my fine scissors and cut that just so it's a better circle. But this stuff, holy cows, it cured amazing. Yeah, I'm impressed. And it's really, this is some sturdy stuff. I bet you could make some pretty darn massive molds with it. I'm kind of curious. Here, I'll show you. This is the mold that I made with their original mold making kit, and it's quite beefy too. This stuff is awesome. I'm quite impressed. I'll make a video later and show how the molds work out, but as far as easy to use, if you're just a beginner, this stuff is perfect. Even if you're advanced, I'm sure you would absolutely love it. Another Let's Resin product that amazes me. They are the only craft supply company that has not disappointed me yet, so this is pretty darn exciting. So I'll be back with another video showing you how these molds work with resin. So hope you all have a good day. Take care.